Welcome to Gloomier, a night at Hemlock Hall. Gloomier is the standalone storytelling sequel to the award-winning Gloom. The cards in Gloomier can be combined with any edition of Gloom for added variety, but there's enough included in the box to play a game with anywhere from 2 to 5 players. Much like the original, you'll compete to tell the most tragic tale, while keeping your opponents healthy and happy. Whose family of Hemlock residents will have the most miserable existence? Let's find out. Each player chooses 4 purple character cards and puts them face up on the table in front of them. Randomly select or hand-pick a total of 2 green story cards and/or Unwelcome guest cards, and place them face up in the middle of the table. Put any unused stories, characters, and unwelcome guests back in the box. Shuffle the rest of the cards to form a draw pile. Deal 5 cards to each player to keep hidden in their hand. Whoever is having the worst day goes first. On your turn, start by taking 2 actions. Available actions include playing a modifier card by placing it face up on top of any living character. Modifier cards can include self-worth modifiers, which indicate how good or bad that character feels about their life thus far. Story icons, which contribute to the effects of various cards played throughout the game, and card text that explains that card's effect. Immediate effects are resolved as soon as the card is played. Continuous effects continue to affect the game as long as the effect text is still visible. Persistent effects continue to affect the game as long as the icon is visible, even if the text is covered by another card. These effects only end if the character is killed or the icon is covered. And response effects can only be played during another player's turn, in response to something they've done. Or you can play an event card by resolving its effect and then placing it in the discard pile. Event cards are easily distinguished by the red text and gray text plate. Play an untimely death on any character with a negative total self-worth. A character's self-worth is determined by adding any visible numbers on the cards placed atop the character together. If a new modifier card or untimely death card covers up one of these numbers, it is no longer visible, and thus no longer included in totaling the character's self-worth. You can only play an untimely death card as the first action of your turn, but you can do so on any character in the game, even if the character belongs to another family, as long as their total self-worth is negative. Claim one of the story cards selected at the beginning of the game and immediately gain its effects. To claim a story, at least one character in your family must meet the requirements listed at the top of the text on the story. You can also claim a story from another player, but you'll have to have more characters that meet the requirement than they do. You do not automatically lose a story if your family no longer meets its requirements. It's just easier for other players to steal it from you. You can only have 1 story card at a time. If you claim a second one, the first one has to go back to the middle of the table. Discard your entire hand. Or pass an action if you can't or don't want to take any of the other options. After taking both actions, draw back up to your draw limit, which is 5 cards unless an effect has changed it. play proceeds clockwise to the next player. The game ends as soon as one player's entire family is dead. As soon as that happens, everyone totals the visible self-worth points of all their dead characters to get their final score. Living characters do not count. Whoever's score is the lowest, because dead characters' self-worth is all negative, wins the game. There are just a couple more things to go over before you can start playing Gloomier. First are the unwelcome guest cards you selected during setup. These cards jump from family to family throughout the game by following the card type indicated in their text. If a card is played on a character whose icon matches a guest's trigger, the guest joins that family, and it's considered a member of that family until it moves again. Guests stop moving as soon as they suffer an untimely death. That's technically all you need to know to play Gloomier, but half the fun in this game is telling the story of your unfortunate Hemlock Hall inhabitants as the game goes on. Whenever you play a card, explain how these tragic events came to pass. If you decide to play Brawled Over Brandy on the Colonel, regale your opponents of the tale when some hooligan at the local tavern tried to steal the Colonel's beverage, and the ensuing fisticuffs landed him in the gutter. There's no right or wrong way to do this, but the more creative you are, the more entertaining the game will be for everyone, especially if you find a way to tie each new card to that character's story so far. And that's it. That's how you play Gloomier, A Night at Hemlock Hall.
Hey, my name's Kyle McCarley. I'm a voice actor by trade, but board games are one of my favorite hobbies. If you like board games, you should check out The Board and Barrel every Friday night at 7:30 Pacific on twitch.tv/Kyle McCarley, where me and my buddies play board games. We also give you guys a chance to help us or hurt us, depending on how you feel, with our Buff and Nerf house rules. And we have virtual bingo cards you can fill out while you're watching the show. It's a good time. Hope to see you there.